So I was sitting in the shop today and cleaning some guns and working on some stuff. And I thought I would talk about alternative sniping systems. Now, everybody tells you about the long-range sniper and the dedicated marksman. And those are kind of ideas that are particular to the established military. But there's another role for snipers, and that is as a support person. So if you have a team or you have a survival group and they're at a location, you may need to provide long-range support or perimeter support for those operations. For instance, if you have a base camp you're operating out of, you may need to defend people that are outside of the wire or engage people at long range, including vehicles. So this M14, I built this one in the 1990s. So it's kind of a cross between the technology you would have seen in Black Hawk Down and today. So it's really kind of an adapted Vietnam era rifle because I used an actual sonic suppressor on it, which is capable of full automatic fire. It has the gas relief valve on it, so if there's too much internal pressure, it'll bleed gas. But using this rifle, I see it as a weapon system. Sometimes I would use it as a patrol gun and I'd remove the bipod. And for that reason, I took and put a mid-length sight on this. Now, this was an old sight that you could get years ago, and it replaced part of the gas system. So the little part that would allow you to open up and withdraw the gas piston, you can replace that part with a front sight. Because all these sonic suppressors and the other suppressors you would use on an M14 or an M1A, they involve taking the front sight assembly off. So you lose the adaptability of having a patrol rifle with iron sights. Now, the thing I like about this gun, I built it on an old Federal Ordnance receiver that's semi-automatic. And with a wood stock, it adds about 2.5 pounds to the gun. And I used to carry this gun quite a ways at times. And what I found was the fiberglass military stock would actually provide more stability, and it's saved at 2.5 pounds. So it lightened the weapon system. Now what I really like is you had a screw-off mount system on the old M14s. Some of the special forces got away from that, and they started also including a mount that went into the magazine guide, so you couldn't dismount this easily. I like it easily dismountable because I would also use an ANPVS-2 night vision scope on this. So at night, the ANPVS is pretty heavy, and the bipod would help with that quite a bit. So with this weapon, if you were set up in prone position or from a bunker, a trench line, or a building, you can put quite a bit of semi-automatic fire into an accurate area and engage vehicles, personnel, walls, buildings, whatever you needed to engage. The bipod would allow you to increase your volume of fire because it gave you a lot of control, and it speeded up your time between shots. So from a practical standpoint on this weapon, with the weight, the suppressed capacity, and also use night vision or a daytime scope, that bipod was worth the wait because you could fire every couple seconds rather than trying to reacquire the weapon and hold it. So another way to think it's sniping is eliminating target indicators. So another consideration of sniping is, are you doing long range or short range? urban or rural? And do you need a weapon that you can get rid of a lot of target indicators with? Because carrying the weapon in is one of the biggest issues because you got to hide it. So this second rifle, I don't know the history of, and it's 22-250, and it has a detachable suppressor on it. The barrel length is only 16.5 inches on this rifle, and a lot of people scoff at it, and they say negative things about short barrel sniping systems. But then they turn around in their videos and in person and they tell you how great the SOP mod and SOCOM modifications of the M4 carbine were with a 14.5 inch barrel, a 16-inch barrel, or an 18-inch barrel. And when you look at the ballistics, the 22-250 in a 16.5 inch barrel is going to give you 200 to 300 feet per second more than any of those weapons will. So a lot of their comparisons don't really make sense. So what I'll do is pull this suppressor off so you can kind of get a look at how much it reduces the length of the weapon. So now you can see how much overall length is reduced by having the detachable suppressor. When we look up close, the 22-250 has a 2-point mounting system. You have the threads here which engage at this location on the suppressor. There is a floating wedge system that fits in here, and that's what the thread goes on. And then you'll notice back here there's actually a precision machine surface and another one here. And what these do is they provide close mounting points and give you, this one gives you a gas seal. Because when you look at the suppressor, the barrel system fits in here, and you notice there's actually a space that fits around the barrel that actually functions as a rear chamber for deflecting the gas. So this is actually quite a nice solution. It takes about a foot off of the overall length of the rifle and makes it much more portable, especially if you're in urban terrain or you're working in buildings or climbing mountains. So please share your thoughts. We'll see you on the next video.